guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are doing the 10 best neutral palettes. Of all of the eyeshadow palette videos I've made over the years, I don't think I've ever done one on neutral palettes. I've done seasons, I've done colorful, I've done a lot, but not neutral, and I know some of you are neutral lovers. So if you want to get some neutral palette recommendations, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, if you have not already, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I upload videos twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe, and I'd love to see you back again on the channel in the comments. Alright, let's get into these palettes. They are not ranked in any sort of order. We've got some that are more affordable, some indie brands, some more like prestige, higher end brands. It's a good mix, so there's something here for everyone. And if you like color, don't worry, there's some pops, right? There has to be. So there's something here for you too. Let's go ahead and get into it. I think the first one I'm going to show you guys is the most affordable, and this is from Give Me Glow. This is the Sweet and Sticky palette, and this is currently retailing for $15 on their site, which is crazy considering how huge these pan sizes are. They are so big, in fact, that I honestly don't buy that much from Give Me Glow anymore because of how big the pan sizes are. But I think I've seen their newer releases have some smaller pan sizes, so maybe they're listening. Maybe I'm not the only one, and maybe I'll revisit them again. They have like a blueberry-ish one that looks good. I do still really want the pumpkin one though, and that's the bigger pan size, but I digress. This is a neutral palette video. I have done a lot of holiday or like glam looks with this. This icing drop is amazing. It's a shimmer. It might just look white to you. It's great on the inner corner or also as a highlighter. I've used Dem Buns Dough, this one, as kind of like a bronzer slash contour. It really depends on your skin tone, what works for you. But I do think this is a multifaceted palette, and it is a really nice, simple, neutral palette at a great price point. I think the next most affordable is also the biggest, and if you don't like this one, don't worry, there's plenty more after this, but I had to mention the original Jaclyn Hill palettes. The shimmers are just okay in my opinion, but for the price you get a lot of shades, and the mattes to me are really good. I enjoy working with these mattes. I think they look good. I don't use it a ton just because if you're new to my channel, I do really like playing with color, but sometimes like today I dabble in the neutral, right? And I've obviously got enough in my collection, but this one is nice and it's on sale a lot. So if you're somebody that you're like, hey, I wish I could get X, Y, and Z, but really I just need like a staple every day, like it's gonna get the job done and not break the bank, I do think you can do that with this one. I really do, and I feel perfectly fine, happy, satisfied when I use this palette still all these years after its release. Now if you're like, okay, really Morphe, like let's take this a little more seriously, Caitlin, okay? I got you, you're fine. So next I'm going to bring to your attention Game Beauty, the Victory palette. This is, I believe, the most neutral of their palettes, at least in this format. I know they have some like collab persona palettes that might be a little neutral, but I love this one. I've used it so much. I think it's perfect for traveling with the size, and here's your pop of color if you want it, okay? So it's mostly neutral, and it is leaning more like warm borderline orange in this one, but they do have browns and golds, and then you've got pop of blue. You've got a blue kind of mid-tone shimmer, a deep navy, and then Loot, this one is a really pretty icy shimmery. It's kind of like, you can make it like it is on my finger, kind of flaky, and like tap it on over the top, or you can make it more opaque, but I use that one a lot as a highlighter too. It is really reflective. It's not a glitter, but it's glittery, like there are particles in it, if that makes any sense, but there are no pressed glitters in, I don't think, any of these palettes I'm showing you. I don't really go for palettes with those, but I love the video game inspired theme that this entire brand does. They just get better and better, and this is my most used palette from Game Beauty. Keeping with the indie brands, next from Melt Cosmetics, we have the Rust palette. I think I got this one in a mystery box. I didn't like choose to get it, and it's really nice actually. Now I will say about Melt's formula that I feel that the formula is a little bit more, I how do I say it? Like it has a lot more kick up, like you have to be a lot more careful to not get fallout in this one. But again, you've got some warm tones, you've got a little bit of coolness, and then you've got a pop of yellow. So, you know, it's still summer. We're not quite to fall yet, but some of these neutrals have pops, and it's a really nice one too. Like I said, the mattes are a little fallouty, so you just have to be careful and tap the brush. The shimmers like this in the Melt palettes there, also just like the Morphe palette, okay. They're not anything to write home about, but don't you worry. We're going to be recommending some better shimmers after this, but it's still a lovely, lovely palette for the mattes. Like the pigmentation is really good regardless of the tendency for fallout. Next up, the OG from Laura Lee Los Angeles, the Nudie Patootie, the OG one. She's got a Nudie Patootie too as well, but I haven't used that, so I can't really speak to it. But this one, oh my gosh, I think this is the most like cool tones I have in any neutral palette. And this shade Jaybird is one of my favorites. It is a duochrome that flips from like a pinky to a gold. I don't even really know if I'll be able to show it to you on camera, but that was one of the first like duochrome shades I ever had in my collection. And it's also one of the first more textured, hopefully you can see, metallics I had in my collection, versus there are some that are more just smooth regular metallics. So that was great for me in my mind. And this one also is just super easy to blend these mattes. So if you haven't tried out Laura Lee Los Angeles, I feel like a lot of people haven't. They make good quality products, you guys. Like, if you want to put something else in your cart along with an eyeshadow palette, I would highly recommend blush if they have any left on their site, and also their brushes. They have really, really good brushes. Moving on, I'm gonna do a trio next, right? Because they're all Huda Beauty, all three of them. And they're just all lovely, lovely neutrals. First is the Rose Quartz. This is neutral, but it's leaning a little more pinky. These all kind of lean one direction or another in my mind. This one just has some really nice, cool, sparkly formulas. Moon Magic is probably one of my favorites from this palette. And again, it's got almost like Jaybird, a lighter version, that kind of gold to pink flip, a little bit more pink than Jaybird. And there's just a lot of different formulas in here. You can see with like how swirled they are, the famous Petri dish glossy shade in here. But this one I really like, and I wasn't sure because it's so neutral, but it's very glitzy. The metallics are amazing. The mattes are good too, but the metallics I think are so beautiful in that one. And then they just like kind of get better from there. The Naughty palette has more of like chocolatey, like the last one was kind of rosy pinky. This one's a bit more chocolatey leaning. Still has some of those cool swirled shades. This shade right here, Hard, is so interesting because it's almost like a cream to powder formula. Now, I've never tried Natasha Denona's formula, but I kind of wonder if that's similar. You can tell me in the comments if you've tried Huda and Natasha Denona, but I don't own anything else in my collection that has that formula, and it's great. It's amazing. I'm 32, so like I'm not super wrinkly, but I am starting to get some different, you know, folds and things in my eyes that I didn't necessarily have before. And this was so easy to blend, and it stayed put. It wasn't like a smeary, creamy mess, which is with some like liquid shadows or cream shadows, the experience I've had before. That was, it just blended like a dream, and it's so beautiful. What I'm wearing today is the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. And again, this one has a formula in it that I don't have in any other palette. This one is more, I think, warm tone neutrals, like not as chocolatey, almost like borderline orangey, but it's got some of the swirly shades. And where are they? Again, these two are gel, like cream gel, meant to be eyeliners, and that's what I'm using as eyeliner today. And I don't know if I can go back, guys. Like, I love shadow liner, and I love the like diffused look you can get with a shadow liner that I can't always achieve with a gel liner or a pencil liner. But these, they're right in the palette, and they were so easy. And the thing I like about these that I don't like about shadow liner is sometimes even when I tap, I get fallout, and I usually do my base first, so that can ruin a lot of things. Absolutely no fallout. It hasn't smudged or budged at all. I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. This one is newer to my collection. I just got it on sale recently, but I foresee it being quite loved in my collection. Okay, I've got 2 more recommendations for you guys. The next one is from Lunar Beauty, and it is the Nude Prism. Manny really stepped it up on the shimmers with this one. I mean, the mattes I feel like are the same, Lunar Beauty, and to be honest, to me, they're not bad. They're very good, but shade wise, it's like, I could take it or leave it. Like, I feel like they're not unique mattes to my collection, but these shimmers are excellent. Again, some of them like So Icy you could definitely use as a face highlighter. I've also used like Cherry Blossom here as a blush. Love a multi-purpose palette. Maybe you could get away with using some of these as bronzer depending on your skin tone, and these are really nice for shadow liner. Although, like I said, I do prefer this Huda like gel formula from the Empowered palette. So far better than a shadow liner. But these metallics are wonderful. I think Sam is my favorite one. It's this very reflective pinky. You can see it almost looks just like wet, like liquid. So pretty, and even more enhanced when you either spray it with a brush or use a glitter primer. So that one is wonderful. And last but not least, of course we're gonna end with an indie brand. Of course we are. From Glaminatrix Cosmetics, the Nearly Natural palette. Now, I'm not sure if this one is available anymore, and I'm sorry if it's not, but here it is. And it's just really good. It is really good. The shimmers are good, the mattes are good. I think I like the mattes in this one better than the Lunar Beauty one I just showed you. They're just like slightly more interesting, what with like the green in there, and with like, I don't know, just like a little more like mauvey. And then they have like this silver in here for the shimmers that just mixes it up a little bit more. It's really, really fun. Again, you've got like Naked Eye metallic that you can use as a highlighter, and I haven't tried it yet, but I bet I could use one of these as contour. Probably cool toned enough for me. But Glaminatrix has amazing quality, you guys. I just wish, since they're in Australia and I'm in the US, that there was like a supplier closer to me than getting it from them directly, because the shipping kills. And I do have to mention, before I close out the video, an honorable mention, just in case you have it. I don't think this is available anymore. It was limited edition. It's the Il Makiage collaboration with Kathleen Lights. This is called the Disco Fox palette, but this is like one of my glam go-tos, so I really felt like I needed to mention it. It's got such a unique, like, dry is the only way I can describe it, but not dry in a bad way. But this shimmer formula, it's so cool. You can build it up to opacity, or you can also kind of just take a little bit and like pat, 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 pat over top of something and just get like little tiny reflective shimmers instead of like a full opacity metallic, if that makes any sense. And these mattes are also wonderful, lovely, amazing. I've never tried any other eyeshadow from Makiage. This is the only product I think I own from Il Makiage. But it was just a cool release, pretty expensive, but if you have it, a great neutral one to bring out. So yeah, guys, those are my 10 neutral palette recommendations for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you have a neutral palette that you love, that you think I totally forgot. Maybe I forgot it, maybe I don't own it in my collection. I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below and chat about it. And I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye!